Section 65 of Electoral Act dangerous or lanipokun. Federal government, states, local governments shared 990.189 billion naira in December 2022. Article campaigns in Ogun promises power devolution, industrialization. Edo train kidnap 2 traditional rulers, 5 others arrested as remaining 2 victims figure freedom. Kidnappers demand 20 million naira on 4 tipper lorry drivers abducted in Kwara. Delta identifies 35 flash points of illegal cattle grazing. $53 million debt. Emefiele appeals against summons. IGP not retiring as 60 as a 44-year tenure Police Affairs Minister. Fake OK's NNPC to invest 1.9 trillion naira in 44 federal roads. Suffer time awaits drug baron scatters this year. Marwa. TB in animals, humans must beware of consuming goat meat delicacies. Public health vets. Adeleke warns foresters against violation of operational regulations. And this sports.
Joshua no longer himself. Basi is scapegoat at Ayaz. Fernand, legend. We must preserve the values of world football, says Pinnick. Dino SC Boss wins OGSFA award.
This and many more after this break. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Headlines today, 19th of January 2023. My name is Olushola Egbodofo and with me in the house is
Olubumi Ajiboye Agbuola.
The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee FAC at its meeting shared a total sum of 990.189 billion naira to the 3 tiers of government as Federation allocation for the month of December 2022 from the accounts inclusive of gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, exchange gain, and electronic money transfer levies. The federal government received 375.306 billion naira. State receives 299.557 billion naira. Local government caught 221.807 billion naira. While the oil producing states received 93.519 billion naira as derivation, 13% of mineral revenue. The balance is in the excess crude account as at January 17 this year stands at $473.57 billion.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has called on Nigerians, especially market women and men, not to entertain fear over the new redesigned Naira notes, assuring that the new Naira denominations were genuine and could not be easily counterfeited. The acting branch controller, Central Bank Akure, Ondo State, Mr. Samuel Giwa, who made this call on Wednesday at the sensitization program for traders at Adediji Market, also called on Nigerians, particularly market women, to disregard the rumors during the rounds that the new redesigned Naira notes bleach. Giwa, who allayed the fear of the public that the new redesigned Naira denominations had been counterfeited, said the security features in the notes would make it extremely difficult to be forged.
As part of measures put in place to halt adulteration of fertilizer, the Farm Inputs Support Services of the departments of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has vowed to clamp down on individuals and companies who adulterate fertilizers. The department has announced that those found guilty of this offense will face a punishment of up to 10 years in prison. The department gave the warning on Tuesday during a one-day capacity building of fertilizer quality control inspectors across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
The Central Bank of Nigeria Sokoto office has urged traders at Sokoto Central Market to take advantage of the time frame in making deposits of their old Naira notes before the due date. The controller of CBN in the state, Dahiru Usman, said the new Naira redesign takes the country over 15 years after the last exercise. The CBN controller said keeping money in banks will reduce the prices of commodity, corruption and other financial crimes. He noted that the old Naira notes would cease to be legal tender by January 31st, urging stakeholders to ensure that their old Naira notes were taken to the bank for replacement.
And from economy, their story to politics. The chairman of the National Peace Accord Committee, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired on Wednesday, disclosed that Nigerians are apprehensive of the forthcoming general election, hence the need for the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies to sit up to ensure that the right things are done. General Abubakar was represented by the head of the Secretariat Peace Accord Committee, Reverend Father Atta Bakindo, during the signing of Peace Accord by 8 gubernatorial candidates in Kano State. Disclosed that there is palpable fear among citizens which should be doused by the relevant security agencies. According to him, the act of attacking campaign convoys is another serious security problem that is preying and should be stopped. He then called on all candidates to accept the outcome of the elections as a way of making Kano great and peaceful.
Former president of the Nigeria Bar Association, Chief Wole Olanipekun, has described Section 65 of the 2022 Electoral Act, which empowers returning officers to review declaration of results, as dangerous for the 2023 general election. The Section 65, as signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari last year, states that Section 1, the decision of the returning officer shall be final on any question arising or relating to unmarked ballot paper, rejected ballot paper, and declaration of scores of candidates and the return of a candidate, provided that the Commission shall have the power within 7 days to review the declaration and return when the Commission determines that the said declaration and return was not made voluntarily or was made contrary to the provisions of the law, regulations and guidelines and manual for the election. Subsection 2 states a decision of the returning officer under the subsection 1 may be reviewed by an election tribunal or court of competent jurisdiction in an election petition proceedings under this act. Olanipekun, who spoke in Ado-Ekiti, in the Ekiti State capital, on Wednesday during a visit to the governor, Biodun Oyebanji, stated that the National Assembly ought to have amended the section before it was signed, adding that it would be inappropriate for the returning officers to have power to review already declared results.
Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, on Tuesday said he has never contemplated running on the same faith ticket throughout his political career because he knows it will result in unmitigated disaster for Nigerians. He therefore assured Christians that they are safe under his watch if he is elected president next month. The presidential candidate, who spoke through the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, pointed out that God did not make any mistake in creating people and allow them to belong to different tribal, ethnic, and religious backgrounds.
Justice Ahmed Ramat Muhammad of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Wednesday dismissed a suit seeking the disqualification of the All Progressives Congress and Bola Tinubu over the nomination of Muslim candidacy for the 2023 presidential election. The suit, instituted by an Abuja-based legal practitioner, Mr. Osigwe Ahmed Momo, was thrown out by the judge on ground of lack of legal standing by the plaintiff. Justice Mohammed held that the lawyer, having not been a member of APC and having not participated in the process that produced Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima, cannot challenge their nominations.
A public health veterinarian, Professor Simeon Cadmus, has cautioned on the consumption of goat meat delicacies, saying the practice of grazing cattle and goats together makes goats pose a risk of transmitting tuberculosis to humans. Professor Cadmus stated this in an inaugural lecture in Oyo State. He said livestock owners in Nigeria normally graze cattle and goats together and pose a high risk of transmission of TB among these animals, given that cattle are the main reservoir of Mycobacterium bovinum and therefore a grave danger to public health. According to him, over 6 months, he screened 1,387 with 4.5% showing lesions suggestion of TB in the liver, lungs, and mesenteric lymph nodes using different molecular techniques. He also isolated 4 strains of this Mycobacterium bovine and 1 strain of Mycobacterium tuberculosis from the goat. And this will be our talking point this morning. TB in animals.
That is humans, tuberculosis.
Yes. Humans must beware of consuming goat meat delicacies. And the number to dial for your contribution is 0818 777 5777.
Osun State Governor Senator Demola Adeleke has announced the immediate lifting of suspension on forestry consultancy and permits across the state, with a warning to forestry operators and permit holders not to violate operational regulations to avoid being summarily removed from the field. He also directed them to play according to the rules and ensure transparency in their day-to-day activities. The governor dropped the warnings via a statement by spokesperson Malam Olawale Rashid in Osogbo on Wednesday. Senator Adeleke also hinted that the lifting of the suspension was sequel to an ongoing review of the state's internal revenue service.
Coordinator for your State Infectious Disease Center, Professor Timotokwe Alonge, says the state government is prepared to tackle cases of Lassa fever and ensure adequate care anytime there is an outbreak. Alonge, speaking on the state's preparedness for spikes in cases of Lassa fever in Nigeria, said the redesigned Oyo State Infectious Disease Center, Olodo, now has a new unit with 12 beds designated for admission and care of Lassa fever cases. According to him, Lassa fever is more dangerous than COVID-19, and when it comes to its management, the precautions health professionals need to take is far more than that for COVID-19.
The Ondo State government on Wednesday announced the extension of maternity leave to 6 months as part of the efforts to ensure total child development.
Wow. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Yes, we don't share the second point of the discussion with the
Yes, the discovery of tuberculosis in animals and some public health veterinaries are telling us not to consume goat meat due to the disease.
That human beings must be aware of consuming goat.
Yes, we must be aware of consuming goat meat delicacies due to tuberculosis discovered in goats. So what's your point? We have another call.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, let me continue with what I was reading earlier. The state head of service, Pastor Akayode Ogundele, said this while receiving members of the Federation of Women Lawyers Ondo State chapter in his office. It was gathered that the hitherto nursing mothers were given 3 months maternity leave in the state. Ogundele said the move was to build a society where children will have all that is required in terms of maternal care.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ishola.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Dr. Akiwedo is contributing from the raspberries. TB has been with us for quite some time now, and we should all be aware that all these killer diseases don't stop totally. They are still with us because some people are still carriers of TB. Even the new discovery now in goat, and we all enjoy goat meat and all these things, pepper soup and everything. So and mostly most of these meats are not properly cooked now because they are small, the pieces are small now. If you buy 2 naira piece of meat, is no more than just like the head of a fly. So it's just time for appeal to people to please cook their meat and everything they should cook it properly. And government should also go right with the TB injection. They should make it common to everybody. Something that will prevent is better. Prevention is better than cure. They should, make sure that, prevention injections are needed throughout the state. God bless you. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good morning. Morning, sir. All right.
You see the discovery of TB in animals, put the attention of the veterinary, the food, all those who are in charge of this animal. Because if they sell these animals to the market, it means that people who may use that animal with the affected with that disease. So God help us. If we make God that Ministry of Health is to intervene and make proper arrangements about any kind of one to slaughter in the market and all other accounts to be vaccinated. God bless them.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Morning, sir.
Alaji Mutuka Wadeleke, contributing from Kibame. Well, from one problem to the other. Well, we need to comply by the government order. We should stop eating goat then, at least for a moment. We should try to comply with the government directive. Good morning.
All right, sir. The chairman and chief executive officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Marwa, retired, has warned that drug barons and cartels will face tougher times in 2023. Marwa gave the warning on Wednesday in Abuja while addressing a news conference to update Nigerians on efforts by the agency to rid the country of illicit substance abuse and drug trafficking on the 2nd anniversary of its leadership of NDLEA. Describing 2020, he also added that the successes recorded was as a result of professionalism, determination, commitment, and hard work of officers, both men and women, of the agency.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has warned financial institutions participating in the sale of its application documents against extortion of candidates. The board stated that only financial institutions that registered with the board are allowed to vend its e-pins and must adhere strictly to the terms of engagement. JAMB Registrar Professor Isaac Oloyede, at an interactive session with financial institutions in Abuja, noted that all participating vendors and tellers had indicated interest and registered with the board for ease of identification and record keeping.
The federal government has expressed concern over the rising number of children dropping out of school daily in in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Education, Honorable Goodluck Opai, lamented that the minute is fueling insecurity in the country. The minister commended the for his effort in training young people, especially bringing back the children that have left school to come back to school and learn a skill. He stated that education is very important. Education is also critical, and what LMF is doing is directly in line with the idea that children should be learning not just reading and writing, but getting involved in vocational training that can provide them with a clear source of livelihood.
Meanwhile, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitments towards ensuring that every school-aged child in Nigeria is given opportunity and access to basic education. Minister of Education Malam Adamu, who said this, noted that the federal government and other critical stakeholders are working assiduously to further reduce the number to a more manageable level.
A United States-based philanthropist, Peter Ishola, has donated a professional suit worth millions of naira. The Minister of Sport and Youth Development, Mr. Sunday Dare, has performed the groundbreaking ceremony to kickstart the construction of a block of 3 classrooms as a girls' high school in Ogbomosho, Oyo State. The minister, who has never hidden his passion for the growth and development of his people, is investing in a conducive environment for learning in his community.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Concerning the issue of the spread of tuberculosis, I will advise that people make use of this one because tuberculosis can be spread easily, even through a contact with the people one another in the marketplace, in the vehicle, and the rest. Use of nutrients, minimize the spread of tuberculosis and let's government to educate the seller so that you can treat the animals or cows and the goats in the veterinary. So the veterinarians are supposed to, give treatment to the animals before they're knocked out for consumption. So we got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The Inspector General of Police, Alkali Usman Baba, will not go on retirement even though he will clock the age of 60 in March. The Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, cleared the air on mounting speculation that having attained the mandatory civil service retirement age, he will have to go. The IGP will return 60 in March, having been born in 1963.
And now to sports.
Heavyweight boxer Filip Agrovic has noted decline in former world WBA, WBO and IBF champion Anthony Joshua, saying the Briton was once a beast in the ring. He said he was careful not to learn too much and become something that he is not. Take away his advantages. Igovic said further that he was a beast and he was knockout artist, and that he started to learn too much about boxing and he started to box too much, overthinking. As it stands, Igovic is the IBF mandatory challenger, and at one point he was even ordered to fight IBF champion Alexander Usyk until the organization did a U-turn and rescinded their ordering of the bout.
And with our sports story, we have come to the end of today's edition of Headlines. Join our colleagues tomorrow for another interesting package. My name is Ubishola Egbodofo.
I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbuola.
And the producer for this program is
Motorayo Ayegbayo.
The production advisor is
Abimbola Babatunde.
We say
good morning.